These people are trying to kill us.
I know, Dad.
This is a new experience for me.
Happens to me all the time.
That's right. We watched Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade this week on The Movie Gap, the podcast that has you scream.
How have you not seen that? 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 Little darling, how have you not seen that? How have you not seen that?
Welcome, everyone, to The Movie Gap. Officially, Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us in this beautiful 2021. I'm your host, Chase Austin. And as always, my dad, who's only 12 years older than me, Bryce Perkins.
What's up?
Hey,
Hey, there we go. Oh, nice and clear.
Get on it, Bryce.
Yes.
I see you do it again, you're gone. That's it. Don't you ever do it again.
Welcome. This is the first episode of the new year.
Love us some new cruise drops.
Yeah, you got to love that. We're doing it big. We got everybody besides Bryce, loser, was on Comedy Sports Houston today. It was like Comedy Sports Houston reunion special.
Oh, yeah.
It's myself, and then, of course, fan favorites, Scott White, Ed Ball, and Miguel Baby Sanchez. Hey, guys.
What's up?
Hey.
So, we are doing Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Now, Scott, you want to tell us how this one got picked for being the one that all of us were on? Or that all three of y'all were on?
Okay, so I had Ed and Miguel on my podcast, the Dan Aykroyd podcast, and we all did Temple of Doom. And I know that you and Bryce had also done Temple of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that Chase, you, myself, and Ed, we were all Indiana Jones fans, and Bryce and Miguel were new to Indiana Jones.
I know Bryce was.
So we thought, yes, and Miguel was new to Indiana Jones when we did our podcast.
Okay.
And he had never seen The Last Crusade, and Eddie and I were like, you got to see Last Crusade. Miguel really enjoyed Temple of Doom, and Eddie and I both agreed that Last Crusade was, if not as good, better than Temple of Doom.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I saw that you guys did it, I figured that this would be the best extravaganza. So you get three people who are familiar with the series and two people who are not familiar with the series. So we get, different points of view from everybody, from different people, from watching this at different times in their lives.
It's a mix and match free-for-all.
Yeah, and I know that, Scott, you've been trying to get an episode with all of us from old-timey Comedy Sports on for a while, too. So this was perfect timing. All right. Well,
wait a second. We didn't really discuss this, but Scott, you could easily use this episode for your own podcast as well. Just edit in your own theme song.
It doesn't have a Dan Aykroyd connection.
Oh, nope. Never mind. When you do a Harrison Ford podcast or a Sean Connery podcast, you can
I'll do that.
use this episode then. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. So before we get started, let's go around the horn here. Bryce, how you been?
I'm doing great, man. I'm feeling good in 2021. I got new, my fragrance line is I got really exciting things coming up with my fragrance line. I've teamed up with, I don't want to give too much away. I've teamed up with Pfizer for a few things. But yeah, it's going really well.
All right.
It's good. I got really exciting news.
Good.
Coming.
Miguel, I see that you're up on our screen. How have you been, man?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing great. I'm on vacation. I'm having a good old time.
Oh, nice. Where are you at?
Just sitting in my car doing a podcast so I don't wake up my kid.
Classic.
It's like I saw on the
Dad
news.
pod.
I saw on the news there was some
Right.
guy in New York who got trapped in his car for like 4 hours or something after the snowplow came through and dumped like 12 feet of snow on
This
his
was a long
car.
time ago, right?
Yes, this was like a month ago.
Okay, yeah. Relative. You're right. Time is relative.
Yeah, this is definitely after the new year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, good to see you, Miguel. Glad you took time out of your vacation and your resting to join us comfortably in your car.
Just stretch out right here. Straight.
Hell yeah.
Now, I really hope that you watched this movie on your phone in your car.
I've been here all morning, just ready.
Catching up.
It's hot. I haven't even turned on the car.
He just pulled up in front of the the Starbucks to get the free Wi-Fi to watch
That's it.
watch the movie on his phone.
Yep.
All
A
right.
little in and out.
All right. Ed, you are
Hey,
you are probably the one of the biggest Indiana Jones fans I know. So
yeah, huge indie fan.
glad to have you here. I think I've seen you be Indiana Jones for Halloween several times.
I think I won an award the last time I was dressed up as Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that was what, like
Um,
10 years ago? Shit.
Yeah, you know, when we were really excited for that fourth movie that we don't speak about.
I gotta say, the fourth movie gets a lot of shit, rightfully so,
Oh.
but the Harrison Ford part of it, he's dead on still Indiana Jones. I will say
Oh,
that.
for sure.
But yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty fucking bad.
It's rough. It's a rough ride.
Yeah. But how have you been, man? How was your Christmas? Everything like that?
It was good. I got everything I wanted for Christmas. Can't complain about that.
Did you like Did you like the gift I sent you?
Bryce, I'm enjoying it right now. You can't see it on screen, but
That's probably for the better. We got to keep this
yeah, it's
PG.
well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I can't show my ass on YouTube.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Way to get,
We'll get banned.
an organic plug-in. We are now on YouTube, if you don't know. So
Speaking of plugins,
yeah.
or plugs, I guess.
There we go.
Yeah.
The old Bryce plugin.
Yep.
All right.
Organic. Yeah, so anyway, that's good. How else was your Christmas, Ed?
How else was it?
Great. Like I said, it was. It's nice to be in the new year.
Sounds like you had a
Right.
big Christmas.
Or-
So, Scott, Scott, how have you been?
Classic Chaz.
I just realized that when on YouTube, I could actually show my ass now, and you guys would have to black bar it. That was
Do a vertical black bar across the crack.
Or
vertical.
well, someone would have to watch it and report it before that happens.
That's
so,
true.
so
Yeah,
maybe
we
not.
could literally just be swinging our dicks around, and we would never. No one would ever know.
As long
because
as we don't ever
no one
play,
watches this.
as long as we don't play any Joe Pesci music, YouTube
Right?
doesn't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah. So fucking weird.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Well, this is coming out on the news that Indiana Jones 5 has received the green light.
Yeah.
So that's going ahead.
Is that real?
Yeah, I mean that's been
Oh,
Yes, that
been
is
in the
real.
works. It's been in the works for a long time.
Why does is Harrison Ford in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, when Lucas and Spielberg originally came up with the idea for Indiana Jones, they wanted it to be like their Bond,
Yeah.
specifically Lucas, where it was going to be, just a bunch of adventures about this guy, but it would be played by different people down the line.
Yeah.
And then it became, iconic with Harrison Ford that they couldn't do that. And so, like,
I
he's
think
got to
it's
be in it,
time.
but nobody wants to see it.
I mean, it's it's
You want to see fucking Chris Pratt play Indiana Jones?
well,
Ugh.
or
You know?
Oscar Isaacs. Wouldn't
Yeah.
wouldn't that be some shit?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah. What about
No,
me?
it would probably be Timothy
why don't I-
Chalamet.
why don't I
Look
do
how,
Put Timothy Chalamet.
look
in
how
that
bad,
hat.
nobody saw Solo when somebody else played
Yeah.
Solo other than
Yeah,
Harrison Ford.
that's
I mean,
true.
you just can't really.
There's certain
replace Harrison
roles
Ford.
you can't. Yeah, Indiana Jones and Han Solo, those are Harrison
Yeah.
Ford.
I mean, they did.
Yeah.
You can't branch out.
Harrison Ford became Jack Ryan after Alec Baldwin, but then Ben Affleck became Jack Ryan after Harrison Ford, and now it's Jim from The Office. So that's
well,
a
wait a
character
second.
that's
Wait a
flipped
second.
around.
So you said they.
But wasn't there
You go ahead, Scott.
between Ben Affleck? I'm sorry. This is this,
Got a
between
delay.
Ben Affleck and the guy from The Office. There was a Chris Pine. I believe there was a
That's
Chris
right.
Pine.
Oh, there was?
Yeah,
Jack
that
Ryan
movie.
movie.
Which one was that? What was that
It
one
was
called?
called Jack
I can't
Ryan.
remember the name.
Oh, it was just Jack
It
Ryan?
was called Jack Ryan.
Oh.
Yeah.
I do like Chris Pine. Did you know he could sing? Because he really wants you to know that.
Is he doing music now too?
No, but he just like, for some reason, every time I see Chris Pine, I'm like, why does he always try to sing and stuff? Like
Oh,
on
he does?
SNL, like all of his sketches were him singing. It's like, we get it, dude.
Oh.
You're a triple fucking threat. All right. Calm down. But no,
At least he's not.
He seems
At
harmless.
least he's not going the Jeremy Renner. But more power to Renner though for doing that. But anyway, so the thing about Bond though, about Lucas wanting this to be their Bond,
Yeah.
they got the Bond
Yeah, and
to
that was
play his father.
That was the first choice. It was always going to be.
But see, here's the
him,
thing.
but what?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's a testament. We just realized or discussed that it's a testament to Harrison Ford that they decided no one could replace him.
Yeah.
But Connery was replaced many times, and he was the original Bond. So how do you think he feels about that?
Well, Connery was replaced.
Probably
and
pretty
then-
shitty.
Connery was replaced and then came back to Bond.
He did.
Yeah, for one, right, Ed? Do I have that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Was that the
Never
one-
say never again.
Yeah, with Lazenby?
He retired and he was pretty over the whole, like, he had like a beef with the producers of James Bond. So like he was really phoning it in towards the end, and then not even 20 years later, they brought him back for a movie that's not considered canon in the actual franchise.
Oh, well, then it doesn't count.
Oh,
Right.
it counts.
But he
Oh,
was still
okay.
playing James Bond, and it was essentially the same plot as Thunderball, but apparently a little bit more faithful to the book. But I haven't read it.
But
Oh,
and then there's
interesting.
also The Rock, which he may or may not have been James Bond in that movie. If you watch it again and
Oh,
be like,
yeah.
oh, you know what? He could very well
Sounds
be
like
James
a fan
Bond.
theory to me.
It is.
I'm gonna pass.
It is. Hey, you're a fan of fan theories now. You had your own with Speed and Dumb and Dumber.
I'm a fan of my own fucking fan theories. Okay.
I love Speed. That movie really
That's all I have
changed
to
my
say
life.
about that. Yeah. Actually, yeah, that is dude, that is. But see, I came up with that fan theory. Nobody else. I did. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
why it's good. Okay, so
All right, well, let's get into it. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Let's do it. Let's go.
You gotta love.
Sorry, I thought we were going for a comedy sports. Yes.
which is
All
you know,
together in unison with our fists pumped. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Yes.
Again.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes, the lag is so good.
we don't really do that at station. So anyway, just kidding. Anyway,
I'm sure you guys are a
I was
good
in
team.
Comedy
Fucking
Sports High
Bryce.
School. Comedy Sports High School.
High school league, yeah.
So with you guys, except for Scott. So
And
I'm,
us.
I'm a
Yes.
comedy sports guy too.
Miguel
All right?
coached high school league.
Wow, he took
Why are
it,
we?
took it to another step.
Why are we measuring our
Just-
improv dicks?
Can we go back to Indiana Jones?
So Harrison Ford famously got his start doing the Groundlings in L.A., where George Lucas saw him. Anyway, no, let's go.
All
Come
right.
on, I got notes, dude. I was not expecting to take notes, but there was a lot about this movie that I just had to fucking write down.
Okay, well, so obviously, I've grown up with this movie. Ed, you've grown up with this movie. Scott, what was your connection with the Indiana Jones? You were very much alive when this came out. I was 3.
I saw this in the theaters.
That came out weird. Yeah. How was
was
that?
I saw this in
born
the
when this movie came
theaters, and I was on a date, and when I saw this, and the girl I was with, which made me think, she didn't know who Adolf Hitler was in the movie. That's how it was like. that scene came up, and she didn't really place that it was in the past, and she didn't know who. She's like, who's that? I go, that's Adolf Hitler, World War II, and she was just sort of, yeah.
Okay. So she knew who Adolf Hitler was. She just didn't realize that was a guy playing Adolf Hitler.
You know what? She might. The way I said it, it's like that's Adolf Hitler, dumbass. You know. So that when somebody gives you an answer and they give them that tone, like you don't know that, and you're yeah, of course. That's
Adolf Hitler. Wow.
Adolf. Where's the Dolph Hitler? No, that's.
What?
Well, I'm interested. Bryce and Miguel, was this your first time watching it?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what we were getting to. So, Miguel, why don't we go to you first? And why is it that you haven't seen it? Like, is the Indiana Jones thing just like something that just slipped through the cracks for you, or were you never interested in that kind of stuff? I know Bryce doesn't like movies about digging in sand, which is why he stayed away from it for so long.
Yeah.
So what about you?
No, it's kind of what you said. It just kind of slipped through the cracks. I was not really super big. Obviously, like I wasn't around when Indiana Jones came out, and so by the time that I was, old enough to like watch them, I was just kind of like, oh, those old movies. They're probably not that good anyway. They don't hold up or something. And so I just never really gave it a chance. But after watching the last two movies, I was really looking forward to this one, and I just finished watching it this morning, and it was surprisingly very good for a third. The end of a trilogy.
Yeah. So you have you watched all three of these in the past year? Did you watch the first one to get ready for the other podcast?
Yeah. So I didn't have to watch the first one, but I did. I watched it just to get like some context to it, so I can understand the second one better. And then I watched the second one, obviously, and then in 1 year now, I've caught up to the main Indiana Jones, fan base. I'm into it.
Cool. Yeah. So I am now interested, Bryce. It has been, I guess we did the first Indiana Jones like 2 years ago.
Right.
So it took you 3 years to watch them all.
Yeah.
Obviously, you were waiting on us doing them, and I'm glad that we did it. Even though this is totally after the 31st, I did notice when I started playing it on Netflix last night that it said, "Watch this movie before December 31st because it's gone." So,
really?
yeah.
Did it? Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, it's going to be off of
it's a good thing,
Netflix.
yeah. Well, it is January now, but it's a good thing that we were able to.
It's also a good thing that like everybody besides you and Miguel has seen these fucking movies.
Right. Yeah.
So, but so why is there any other reason besides that you just hadn't seen the first two that you hadn't seen this one?
Nope. That was it. Why
right.
watch the third if I hadn't seen the first two? But
that's fair.
Now it was time.
You tried to skip movies in the Marvel thing, and you're like, yeah, I got to go back.
Yeah, I did. Thanks to your poor guidance, by the way. You were like,
I
don't
just
worry, you don't need to watch
I
these.
thought you had like a knowledge base, a general knowledge base of superheroes. I was wrong, and I apologized.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Love that.
So let's get into the notes here.
Okay.
What do we got?
Well, I did not know River Phoenix was in this. Whoa!
Yes. Right from the beginning.
That's the big.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Big whammy right there. Okay, so I have a couple notes about River Phoenix's appearance here.
Okay.
First of all, we did Stand By Me.
We did.
He's obviously a kid with natural talent, and he does great being young Indy in this one. However, costuming department, it's 1912. Why does he look like he has hair from the 90s? He's about to sing for a grunge band. I don't think so. I don't fucking think so. That's why you don't win the Oscar. It's for the fucking little details. It's the little details like that. He fucking looked like he was about to be fucking Johnny Depp in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and he's supposed to be 1912 Boy Scout. I don't think so. He would have had a fucking shaved head, maybe a little curly mustache. Something from the 20s.
Well,
or
I
the
will
12s.
say there was a lot of little parts in that sequence, in that young Indy sequence, where I was like, wow, he's really good at doing like the little Harrison Ford things.
Dude, he
like
was, yeah. When he pulled the snake off, he goes, "It's a snake." And
yeah,
it was just like how Harrison would have said it, like before Indy was afraid of snakes.
Now, did you like this? Was watching that whole sequence is like, I know Bryce loves River Phoenix.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to hate this sequence because it very much was. This is how all these things
it was
happen.
really bad. The writing was it was so cheesy, but look, it was fun, and it was so Spielberg and so Lucas. I mean, you can fault it all you want and say like it's so cheesy and predictable. But that was their MO, especially at that time, especially for a third movie. Especially with fucking Lucas, how he loves to ham it up on the third movie, Return of the Jedi. Now, so, when he gave him his hat, I was like, yeah, I saw that coming from a mile away, But River Phoenix, it's great to see him. R.I.P., man. But again, he shouldn't be looking like he's the lead singer of Blind Melon. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
he should have had shorter hair.
So I watched this one with my wife again, and the whole time during that sequence, she was just like, God, Leo DiCaprio really was trying to be River Phoenix when he came out. He's like, he looks just like him.
He's a star child, man. There's just something about him. He really had that quality, and he's super talented, man. He did a really good job of picking up on Ford's little things, like what you said. I mean, when he said it's a snake and he threw it off on the fat kid, that was
and that's before he got
good.
That's before he got his fear, because he got his fear after he
fell into the thing. But it was exactly like how Harrison Ford would say it.
And there was something when he like at the beginning when he's like running down into the crevasse or whatever, and he says something to the kid that's following him, and it was very like Harrison Ford cool.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's just like a Harrison Ford move. Like just the way he moved. Because obviously most of Harrison Ford's stuff is not how he talks. Let's be honest.
Right.
You are correct with that.
Yeah.
It's just his presence.
It's the presence.
So,
and his whole he did really good at having that, showing that Indy always had that conviction of doing what was right for the, the love of the artifact and not the...
It belongs in a museum.
Right. And,
because that is what archaeology is all about.
It was a pleasant surprise. Anybody else got something to say about River Phoenix? You say it to my face. Anyway, you got anything to say?
Well, I was going to say, did you catch the name of the guy who gave him the hat? If you had the subtitles on, it says it, but it's also in the credits.
I did have the subtitles on. I was too busy noticing that one of the people's real names was Allison Duty.
Yeah, that is
dude.
That is the main girl.
You want to talk about change your name, for Hollywood. But anyway, I was too busy focusing on that because I have the mind of a 5-year-old.
His name is Fedora. He's credited as Fedora, and in the original script, though, his name is Abner Ravenwood, and he is Marion's dad from the first movie. And that, because in the first movie, he talks about her dad being a mentor to him.
Yeah.
And then I think they touch on it a little bit in Crystal Skull, too.
Oh,
so that was
then
him.
he comes back, but he's not really a mentor, but he kind of is, even though he ends up killing him. And he
didn't kill him.
Well,
he wasn't part of that. He was just... No, that was the guy he gave the cross to. That's not where he got the fedora.
Yeah, he got the fedora from... hello, small man. He got the fedora from Marion's dad.
Yeah.
But then in the future, it was Marion's dad, and he goes, this is the second time I've had to take this from you.
That was the guy that was paying him for the cross. That was the bad guy.
Yeah, you see him a few times in that chase sequence, like when they finally catch up to Indy at his house with his dad.
Yeah.
You see, like, the guys run the cross out to him, and he's in the car. I guess it's the white. It's his white hat and his white clothes that I guess he indicates it. You don't get properly introduced to him, but he's the guy in charge.
Oh,
so
I see. Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
So Marion's dad is just an adventurer.
Gotcha.
He's not.
I liked that he saw him, but calling him Fedora.
Anyway, so what else you got, Bryce?
I don't know. Did anyone else have anything to say about River Phoenix?
I do know that he died on October 31st.
That's true.
And guess who else died on October 31st this year?
Oh, it wasn't
Sean
Houdini
Connery.
then.
Sean Connery. They both died on Halloween night. Isn't that weird?
Yes.
But didn't Houdini die on October 31st as well?
Yeah, but he's not in this movie.
That would be
Or
fucking
is
cool.
he?
Or
Might
is
be.
he? Exactly.
Whose magic tricks do you think those were in that?
There you
Caboose
go.
car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, did you catch the name of the magic car? It was called the Magic Caboose. Did you catch that?
No.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's also my street name. So anyway, keep going.
I mentioned this when I was on Scott's podcast. Hang on, sorry. I mentioned this on Scott's podcast that like I get really like invested into these movies, and like I really get just like unbelievably like I let go of my sense of unbelievable, whatever that phrase
Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. I buy into shit pretty easily, I guess, with Indiana Jones. But in the beginning here, when he jumped into that box, I was like, this motherfucker. He just jumped into this box, this human-sized box. Like, of course he's in there. This guy's going to find him right away. And then he opens it up, and it flattens. I was like, whoa, he's gone.
Oh, man.
I just felt like a total idiot.
To be a fly on the wall of the Starbucks that he's out in front of.
I know.
People saw him see that moment.
I was super into it. Yeah,
it was lit.
Yeah,
it was lit.
And you're exactly right. Like that is how these movies are supposed to be. You just watch it. You're like, I'm in for this ride. And if that box freaks you out because you're like, holy shit, they're doing their job.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, and it was a really cool shot when they pan to the back, and then he's like running down the track.
Yeah.
Almost as though he just. I was like, he just teleported there almost.
Yeah.
It was super cool.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, moving on.
And if I'm not mistaken, it did that without a cut.
Yeah.
It was all one shot.
Yeah.
The pan over?
The pan over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You can kind of tell because he kind of just barely misses it. He's like, you kind of see him run onto the track.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like right on
the track. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It was a pretty cool shot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And there's a lot of
Spielberg,
a lot of great,
baby.
Yeah,
that's Spielberg for you.
There's so many great shots like that in this film. It's classic Spielberg.
All right. Well, anybody else got anything to say?
No, that's where we're all looking at you. Go ahead, Ed.
Well, I like about the start of the movie. I'd like to when we did when Temple of Doom. The opening credits are very showy. It's that anything goes,
Yeah.
And the credit. So that movie, it started with a very lighthearted credit sequence, and Temple of Doom turned out to be a rather dark movie. And this one started off with very somber. They were this very simple and very somber and very serious credits. Harrison Ford, Last Crusade. There was nothing really showy about the credits, but this movie was very much more lighthearted than the previous movie. This one had a lot more humor, a lot more lightheartedness in it.
For sure.
So I found it really interesting, the contradiction of the credits from the previous movie and this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. And also, no short round in this movie.
No.
Bring me on to my next, which is...
well, how could there be? Because there wasn't in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Raiders of the Lost Ark was after Temple of Doom.
Oh,
Temple of
okay.
Doom.
So that
chronologically.
Okay, so then this is after that one even.
Yeah.
All right. What was it like? Do you have any stories, or does anybody have know of any stories about how Harrison Ford and Sean Connery got along working with each other?
I mean, I didn't read anything that they were not friends or anything, but
do you know anything about that, Ed? Or Scott? Or Scott?
Whenever or at least when Harrison Ford has spoken about it, he reflects on it fondly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I think they both acknowledge the fact that they were not that far apart in age at the time.
Yeah.
But other than that, I believe everybody had a good time.
I know that
It's sort of like the...
Go ahead, Scott.
It's sort of like the Hamlet with Glenn Close and Mel Gibson. Because she was only like 10 or 12 years older than him when they did that movie, and she played his mother.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But one story I remember that came out, when there was a scene, they were in the desert, and during takes, Sean Connery took his pants off. So because it was so hot.
Yeah, well, it was in the
and Harrison Ford just followed suit. He's like, yeah, that's a great idea. So yeah, that was like, it was so hot. So it's just like Harrison Ford and Sean Connery were standing there in their underwear because they just took their pants off.
Because it's out of frame. Yeah, I read that. But
yes, because it was out of frame. Yeah,
I know that there was a couple of things where they had other opportunities to work together. Obviously, one of them was Crystal Skull, but Connery passed on that because he had already retired. And then Harrison Ford was supposed to be the Jack Ryan for Hunt for Red October, and he passed on that.
Oh, okay.
And that went to Alec Baldwin.
Oh,
but yeah. So like but it wasn't ever because of one or the other. It was just they just never.
I was just wondering because that first scene together, which I'm sure, I mean, I don't really know, but it probably wasn't the first scene they actually taped together. But the first scene in the movie together, it seemed a little like between the two of them, it seemed a little like they hadn't really quite found their gel yet because it was two mega names. And whenever you get two mega names on the screen together, it's always like, all right, are they going to try to one-up each other?
That's also called acting. They were supposed to be
but you know what I mean?
Not together. Yeah, they were.
You know what I mean, though? Like, it's like, it's just awkward because it's like, they know it's like they know that they're two stars on the screen together.
The scene when Connery hits him over the head with the pot. Oh, I thought that scene's great.
It is great, but I sensed a little bit of awkwardness there on like they didn't quite have the chemistry of how they were going to work together yet. But again, I don't even know if that's the first time they shot together or what. But it's always with two stars like that. So I was just wondering, like, was there any
I do know that they hired
how they got along.
They hired Tom Stoppard to come in and rewrite all of the Henry and Indy scenes to make them like lighter and funnier with but still have the the gap between them, but like not make it a dark movie about a father and son, but a more lighthearted one.
Yeah,
and he got like $120,000, and then after the movie was a hit, he got like another $1 million for having written it.
Whoa!
And Spielberg said that he rewrote like every line.
Between them,
specifically between them. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's why it's all like funny and quick.
Yeah,
it's got that line about the Marx Brothers in there.
Right, right.
Like that has because there's some story about I think it was Harpo or one of the Marx Brothers had smuggled some paperwork out of Germany.
Yeah,
like some diary
in real life.
Yeah, in real life.
Yeah, that's right.
It was Harpo.
Yeah,
and he smuggled it out of Russia. It was out of Russia.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's just all that stuff. And Tom Stoppard, I don't know if you know who that is. He's a famous playwright. He wrote Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. That's one of my favorites.
Ah. Yes, but I know very fondly that. Right up my alley, Chase.
Like it.
Yeah,
Gary Oldman, Tim Roth. It's great. The movie version.
I see. It was nice to see Frank Zappa get some acting roles in this movie. You know who I'm talking about?
No, not Frank Zappa.
Yeah, I know. But Kazim, all right, so let's talk a little bit about these movies. The only thing that like really holds me back from enjoying these movies is that everything is so fucking convenient, and I know I'm gonna seem like a crank, but and you guys are gonna fire off against me here. What Miguel was saying, you gotta suspend the disbelief.
Yeah,
I just can't. I can't.
If you don't like movies, then don't watch these movies.
These are I mean, Bryce made that point earlier about them being like super Spielberg-y, and it's like, these really are just like movies.
They're great, they're fun, they're beautiful, and they are convenient. Like things happen in a way that's like very written. Yeah. Which is fine.
Like dude, like Harrison, you could you couldn't tell you were standing on an X. You had to go up the fucking flight of stairs.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
come on.
And then when he
so
came back,
dramatic.
he comes back down,
And it's gone.
He comes back down later, and you don't see it. And
Yeah,
it's
when
like,
they're-
what the fuck?
When they're
Yeah.
breaking that, I did notice that this time. I was like, where'd the X go?
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
and
thought that
also
was
when
the
it
first thing
broke,
I noticed.
it was like this convenient little, oh, yes, I can grab this and
Pull it
lift it
out.
now.
I do love the gag with the guy stamping the books.
Right.
I
Yeah.
love when it goes back and he just like sets it on the thing and he's just
Yeah.
watching it.
It's good. I mean, it's good fun, but that's kind of the real shame for me is that I feel like I missed the boat on truly being able to enjoy these, through the eyes of a child, like
Miguel-
I did with Star Wars.
Miguel doesn't have the eyes of a child, and he just watched it for the first time. He still
I
loved
am a
it.
grown adult.
Yeah, he has a child who he didn't even watch it with. But
I actually did. I did watch it with him. I watched this movie with him, and I felt like it was. We talked about it on Scott's podcast. Like I wouldn't have let him watch the second one.
yeah,
The second one's like terrifying.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that.
But this one, beyond just a couple points, towards the end, it's mostly just kind of like a fun adventure movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
we had a great time.
yeah, it's chase after chase after chase. Like I think there's like
Yeah.
6 or 7 chase sequences in this film
A little bit.
on different things. But how old is your son now, Miguel?
He'll be 2 in March.
So how did it hold his attention at all, or was he?
Totally. The beginning when they were on the circus train, he was very into that because we're really into animals right now. But no, he was in general just was sitting with me, just kind of like, whoa. Actually, like big moments where someone was in danger, he'd be like, "Uh-oh." Like, yeah, dude. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh is right.
Yeah.
This shit's wild as fuck.
Yeah.
I like it when you figure out that Sean Connery or that Henry and Indy both had sex with the same woman, and he goes, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
He's like, "Right, Dad?
But no.
Right?"
No, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. No. But no, yeah, we had a great time. And to talk about Sean Connery just a minute for earlier, you were talking about how they had that kind of awkward energy, and obviously, like it was what they were supposed to be. Like they haven't seen each other in a long time.
Mhm.
But what I appreciated about Sean Connery in this film is that Indiana Jones was never cool to him.
Yeah.
Like everything he did, his dad was just like, okay, boy, whatever. Like it's not that
Right.
big a deal, with the exception of the death part. Like he was like, oh, this doesn't happen to me very often. And I just like that it kind of brought Indiana down to another level. You know what I mean? It humbled him in his older age.
Yeah.
I think I like
well,
that too.
And he even makes the comment of like, "I was a great dad. I made you do everything yourself.
Yeah.
Like you would be
Yeah.
nothing if I like coddled you. He's like, or you could have been my dad." It's like seeing the the cats in the cradle thing from both sides. He goes, "You left right
Totally.
when you got interesting." Like when he became an adult, he's like, "Fuck you. I don't want to be around you either,
It's
Dad."
like, you didn't even notice that I had
Yeah.
that long 90s hair in 1912. You never made me cut it. Anyway.
Bryce.
Yeah. So,
Well, Ed has a daughter. Did you watch this movie with your daughter, Ed?
Sure didn't, because you guys made me feel bad about saying I would let my daughter watch Indiana Jones at the age of 5. You guys 5? Oh my fucking!
Well, the last one was terrifying.
I mean, I watched that one when
Temple-
I was young too.
Yeah, Temple of Doom is definitely the exception because it is like grisly and very traumatic. But no, I just watched this in bed with Sarah last night, so
I mean,
that was Lily.
sorry.
Lily hasn't met Indiana Jones yet, but I look forward to the day that she does.
I know that I watched these when I was very young. I mean, I was watching these and the Christopher Reeve Supermans, and because growing up, my favorite one was Temple of Doom because it was like the most interesting one with the least amount of dialogue. I guess is just kind of But this one, I think this one's my favorite. It really is. There's a lot of great stuff in Raiders of the Lost Ark, but this one is by far my favorite, I think. But yeah, it used to be Temple of Doom when I was like 5, because I like the monkey brains crap.
right. That makes sense.
And I've never really thought of Temple of Doom as being dark, because like even the scary stuff is well lit. so like it didn't feel scary.
Yeah.
It felt kind of cartoony in a like a old serial kind of way.
Aren't you a big boy, Chase?
Yeah.
I remember getting scared. I mean, not scared, I guess. Just like the more grisly things, like when they were eating the in that movie, Bat Freak. That was intense. Like, why would anybody do? And then, you don't want to see your favorite hero get possessed by some dark magic, like when Indy goes bad.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
So it's just like moments, and it's the overall tone, comparatively speaking.
No, I mean, I see it now, but just like as a kid, I never really saw it that way. I guess it wasn't,
The Temple of Doom was what felt more like the more adventurous one, mostly because of any Nazis in it, It was either Indiana Jones versus the Nazis, or here he is in like the middle of a jungle on an actual adventure, kind of like, what the opening of Raiders of the Lost Ark shows is like him running away from a concrete ball, and going through all these traps. Temple of Doom is full of that, right? And then he still gets to fight the big bad guys, but it's like not related to the worldly issues. It's more just like, here's the next adventure kind of deal. And then he also gets to use like a machete or a sword to fight people. So who doesn't love that?
Yeah. I don't know. I always liked the Nazi stuff when I was a kid too.
I was surprised to see they went back to Nazis.
Yeah. Well, and that was kind of like the reason that they made Temple of Doom a sequel, was because I don't know if it was Spielberg or Lucas. I think it was Spielberg who was like, well, now that he's fighting the Nazis, he's got to always fight the Nazis. And I don't know why.
Right.
Like there's, I don't know. Spielberg's got something about Nazis where he's just like, they're bad guys. We got to stop them.
So that brings up another point. But I do remember when we were doing Temple of Doom, you were talking about how they set Temple of Doom as a prequel so that it wouldn't be the Nazis again.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the Nazis, and he wouldn't be cheating on Marion, which he's not with Marion again. So.
Right, which he ends up, boofing the Fraulein. But they went back to Nazis this time, which you, I guess, are saying that that's a Spielberg thing. It's a Spielberg fetish.
Well, in fact, when Lucas pitched the third movie to Spielberg, his original idea was Indiana Jones in a haunted house. It was going to be about going to like some haunted house or whatever. And Spielberg says that, he just got done with Poltergeist. He didn't want to do another haunted house movie, but I think it was like, why? I'm not going to do Indiana Jones in a fucking haunted house.
Temple of Doom kind of is that.
Yeah.
It's a haunted temple.
But, but it's not. Yeah, I think this was like he was going to fight actual ghosts.
Oh, boy.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
that sounds terrible.
It does. But I think they've turned it into a book, too, because there's a whole bunch of Indiana Jones books.
Yeah. It kind of made me think watching this movie how things like Nazis and the Holy Grail and the Ark of the Covenant are like dated now, but back then that shit was like top notch of like the interesting conspiratorial, kind of like, oh, there's so much mystery behind this shit, because it was kind of the only place where you could get entertainment or ideas based off of that kind of subject matter. But I found myself watching this and thinking that, man, if this was 1995, this would be so much more exciting and interesting to me, because the Holy Grail and all that kind of thing had so much more mystery to it. But now with the dawn of the internet and how like conspiracy theories are just have taken off, this is like child's play type of subject matter. It's something I noticed that. The evolution of subject matter in entertainment.
I feel like in the 80s it was more Russians than Nazis. I think the Nazis were almost played out at this point, but this taking place in the 40s.
Yeah.
Or was this? No, this was World War II, right? Yes, because Hitler was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was set in 1938.
Yeah.
This movie was set in 1938.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched this and then I watched
before the U.S. got into World War II.
I watched this and then I watched the first Wonder Woman last night, and so like I got confused on which wars I was in because the other one was World War I and this was World War II.
Yeah.
This is all very confusing.
I know what you're talking about.
There's shipwrecks in both and stuff. Yeah, you get confused.
I get that reference.
Gal Gadot.
I don't know what that word means.
They look the same to me. They look the same.
Yeah, they are the same person.
They both have a whip.
They do. They both have a whip, and they both like that whip. And Wonder Woman's lasso conveniently just like, oh, we lost track of it. Oh, but it's back. I noticed that a lot watching this.
Yeah.
Is just like he'll be using the whip and then, it attaches to his dad and then, what's his name? John Rhys Davies takes his dad or whatever. But then later on, he's got his whip back. There's some of that stuff where it's like, okay, we weren't really paying attention to where the whip was at all of these times.
Yeah, totally. And I thought that the last
it's very video game.
I thought that the last test before you get into the room with the Grail.
Yeah, that's a cop out.
Going to be him having to I thought it was going to be another convenience thing where it was like one can only cross if they have a whip.
Well, the thing about those tests is that that first one,
they're all child's play too.
Yeah, well, but that
it's
first one,
the most asinine fucking tests ever.
The first one is bullshit because if you kneel, you get killed by the other one.
Right.
You had to kneel and roll.
The bottom one.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
you had to kneel and roll. And then the second one is just, hopscotch in Latin.
And then
But then the third one, how do you not?
I forgot. It starts with an I.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then in the third test,
stupid.
how do you not? You don't have to have a full heart. There's a stone bridge there.
There literally is an
walk.
invisible stone bridge.
Yeah.
You just you have to have faith. No,
you
just have to take
walk.
a step.
Yeah. Or just don't goose step off the bridge like you said, which is funny because Connery says, or Henry says to that Nazi guy, he's like, you can't goose step your way through this or whatever, and then it cut to that Harrison Ford on that bridge. He straight up goose steps off the bridge and he's fine.
Yeah. Oh man, it's good stuff.
Okay. Well, speaking of, this is an inconsistency that has bothered me about this movie since it came out. It's the tank scene when he gets his bag caught on the turret of the tank.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, there's no possible way for that bag to get caught on the turret the way it does.
Yeah.
It's impossible. It's slung over his shoulder, and then all this it just can't happen. And it's a little thing, but it just bothers me every time I watch this movie. It is impossible for that leather strap to get caught on the turret does.
Yeah.
And they do it through edit, and just watching that every time, it's like, that can't happen.
Yeah. It's a little bit forced suspense.
Yeah.
Manufactured suspense moment there. That didn't really need it. I mean, there's plenty of other action to make it.
I love it.
Interesting.
I think that's a classic moment because it gives that.
What is it? It's a
classic moment, dude.
Right.
But that whole tank fight scene with that Nazi guy, he just keeps getting the upper hand, not being better than Indiana Jones. The thing that always bothered me though is when he grinds Indy's face on the tank treads, and
how the fuck
doesn't
is his face
murder him.
Yeah. Is his face still intact?
Even
and then when fucking Sean Connery is riding on that whole his whole back would have just been scraped off.
Yeah.
He would have rolled over and his spine would have been.
I mean, you do see him
exposed.
after his tweed jacket has a bunch of holes in it. But that was it.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things you can't. It is not actually real life.
But it should be. Speaking of real life, I had my own. I got scared by Indiana Jones as a kid too, but not from watching the movie. I was 3 years old, and we did a family trip to Disney World, and it was someone's bright idea to make the very first ride that we went on, the Haunted Mansion. And so I went on it, my little 3-year-old ass, and just basically cried my way through the entire ride to the point to where after that, for the rest of the week, I refused to go anywhere or do anything that anyone else wanted to do. I wouldn't even go into the convenience shops because they looked too dark.
You were afraid
my dad told me.
someone's
Yeah.
going to pop out at you.
Yeah. And so I remember sitting outside the Indiana Jones ride with my dad because
The
someone had to
stunt show?
babysit me. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, or maybe it was, I think it was a ride.
The ride is in
Universal?
No, the ride is in California. It's Disneyland.
Oh, so then it was the show or whatever.
Yeah, the
But
stunt show's in Florida.
I had to have my chaperone, like someone had to stay with me because I
Because you
refused to
wouldn't
go. Refuse. And just being outside and hearing the booms and the bangs and still crying my eyes out. So maybe that's why I didn't watch Indiana Jones.
My wife said that they used to go. Her sister worked at Disney World for a while, but when they used to go as kids, one time they went to the Indiana Jones stunt show, and her dad got picked to be one of the extras in the street scene.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
Talking about Mr. Smith?
Mr. Smith.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So did he do it?
Yeah.
Well, can I ask, what did anybody have a favorite scene from the movie? Just one that, when I watch movies like this, if I feel it right here, that's when the scene gets me. Did you ever have a scene? What was your scene that got you right here? I'm interested to know.
I don't know. It's just I love all the stuff between Harrison Ford and Sean Connery.
Yeah.
All like anything that's an action sequence that's played for comedy, because that is so hard to do in a lot of things where they do. It's like very good action, but there's still comic moments, and neither one of them overplays it. I don't think. Like it still plays as funny, and it still plays as dangerous.
What really surprised me about this was I was not expecting Sean. In my mind, Sean Connery is so serious. I don't really watch a lot of Sean Connery movies, but in my mind, he's very serious, very dramatic actor. He commands presence, blah 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 blah. So in these moments when you're talking about there being comedy, it's surprising how much of that is Sean Connery. Actually like kind of goofing around, but he's really nailing these beats. Like it's not like he just stumbled into them being funny. Like you can tell he's like actually like plotted them out or whatever.
Yeah, he's very dorky. Like it's great.
Yeah, the character he's playing is so believable, and because I had this other idea of him, it just like kind of was very refreshing to watch this movie and see kind of where Indiana gets it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. An event specifically is the. In the tank when he bit, like the guy drops the gun down and first of all he bends down and looks eye level at the gun, which is weird. And then he picks it up and then he's fighting with that German over the gun, but ends up grabbing his pen and squirting the German. I was like, that is so indie. Like that is such an indie move.
Yeah.
Like being that resourceful, but in a dorky way.
I kind of noticed that he was kind of playing the Batman role where like he'll do whatever he can to get out of the situation, but he won't kill,
Well, he definitely killed everyone on that truck when he shot it with that mortar.
Oh yeah.
But he
when was that?
That was in the tank. After he kills the Nazi in the tank.
He did that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because
never. Well, there goes that
Marcus goes, the pen is mightier. And he goes, yeah. And he grabs the gun and just shoots and it blows up the whole
I missed
thing. But I do love that moment in when he's rescuing him from the castle and those 3 Nazis come in and Indy just like shoots them all and he just
and he's
can't
like,
believe
what
it.
did
He goes,
you do?
What? How did you just do that?
Yeah.
Like why did like, they were gonna kill us?
That actually was a great moment. I thought that was really cool because I kind of noticed that too. I was like, damn, Indy, you just fucking straight murdered these motherfuckers.
You don't ever think
of
about it because you're like, well, they're fucking Nazis.
Right.
This is an adventure movie.
Yeah.
But like his dad is like, hasn't seen him in 20 years.
And his dad's like, what the fuck? You just killed all these people.
And that's the least of it.
Yeah.
Oh, and that scene, I really love the scene in the boathouse where Indy unties the boat and his dad like throws him the suitcase. He throws him out. He's like, what are we doing? Totally confused.
Right.
There's just a lot of that stuff. And then when Indy is in that moment where they're being hunted down by that last airplane on the beach.
Yeah.
And Andy looks at his gun. He's got no bullets left. And he's just like, we're fucking dead. This is how I die. I found my dad, and we're gonna die here. And his dad just goes and uses the umbrella to scare up all the geese.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And he looks at his dad just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, speaking of that, Steven Spielberg hates animals because all this movie was just mass murder of
animals,
flocks of and groups of animals. He burns entire fucking generations of rats, in the beginning. Kills all those fucking geese. He just has a fantasy. I'm convinced he has a fantasy of just mass groups of animals dying
in
at once.
The last movie, they ate a bunch of snakes and monkey brains.
Right.
And,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Did he direct all 3 of these?
Yeah.
Wow.
All 4. But he's not directing the 5th one.
Woof.
He's just an EP.
So. Well, what was Ed? What was your favorite scene? Did you have?
I like the castle scene where they're like going back and forth on the secret fireplace.
Yes.
Rotation of that. I mean, like it's very like you couldn't really get away with that anymore because people would just be like, "Oh, that's so cliche" or whatever. But they rock it. Like Harrison.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's great. I like you guys. This isn't by any means my favorite scene, but I definitely wanted to speak up when you guys were trash talking the X, finding X marks the spot.
Go for it.
Because I love it.
That shot where the camera follows them up the spiraling staircase and then like reveals it. It's all part of the adventure movie, man.
I know.
And sure, it was a guff when the X suddenly disappears, but whatever. I also like the interactions between Marcus and what's
Sala.
John Rice's name?
Sala.
Sorry?
Sala.
I like the interactions between him, like when Sala's trying to save him in the market from the Nazi spies. And then
run.
Yeah.
Truck drives off.
Yeah.
That's a great. And then the classic, like the ultimate, and what kind of like sealed this off as a trilogy before they ruined it with the 4th one, was all of them riding off into the sunset at the end.
And you know where that was filmed?
Yeah.
That sunset shot, like just the actual riding off into
Tatooine.
Sunset. No, it was filmed in Lubbock.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, that was the only place you could get like a full wide
plane.
Yeah, just like nothing but
on the
sun.
fucking plane, baby.
Yeah,
cool, man.
But I was gonna say about the X marks the spot scene is you're exactly right. It's very like it is such a cool moving shot. Like this whole movie makes you feel because of the way it's shot. And I love how when we see like before that scene, we see Indy in his non-element as a professor, and he's teaching, and he goes, "This is archaeology. It's never X marks the spot." And then the very first thing we see him do is X marks the spot. And he even says it like that.
Right.
X marks the spot.
That was good.
But yeah, no, the fireplace scene is probably my favorite scene, actually, with them tied together. And he's like, "Get my lucky lighter out." And like he's having this heart-to-heart with his dad, and his dad's fidgeting with that lighter to the point where he lights the floor on fire. And he goes, I lit the floor on fire. And
yeah.
and they do that thing where they both look the wrong way, trying to move. I don't know. The comedy there is great.
Yeah.
I love that scene. You're right. Anyway.
Well, you mentioned the boat scene.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite lines in the movie is Harrison Ford lets the boat go, and he walks off screen, and Sean Connery's like, "What about the boat?
What about
the boat?"
What else?
It's just little things like that, and the interaction between Sean Connery and Harrison Ford is, my dad is 95. I'm 52. I'm older than you guys, so we are from a different generation. And I appreciated is when they were talking about archaeology, talking about finding the shield, finding the second marker. And that was their way of that was their way of bonding. They weren't. It's not like today where they're hugging and kiss, and that's how it is with my dad. You know, me and my dad will talk about sports, and it may not seem like anything, but it's everything.
Yeah,
and that's how it was with that. You know, it's they weren't saying how much they loved each other, but when they were talking about the archaeology, talking about going on the adventure, it may not have meant anything in the big scheme, but it was love between them. And I identified with that, being from a different generation.
I mean, that's
about how you interacted with your parents, especially your dad.
I totally agree with that, because that's how I am with my dad. It's always about like taxes and finance and people doing things wrong, and we'll both like go back and forth on like, well, you just write this off, and like, yeah, but they're just dumb, and like, and we get into it like together on that, just that same way that they do in that, and then it's like, that's over. Now what? Oh, well, I watched this show. But yeah, no, I see what you mean. The relationship feels real. It feels lived in. I think all the characters in this movie, everything feels, this whole world is lived in, even like the little parts of it. You know, like the them coming out of the sewer in the middle of France, and everybody freaking out.
That was
and
a cool shot.
Yeah, and I love the tacky joke, but when he throws the German guy off the thing and he says no ticket, and then everybody produces their ticket immediately.
Right. Yeah,
you know, like, it's all great.
That Zeppelin scene was probably my favorite part of the movie.
I literally like jaw to the floor when they were like, "Oh, I got 2 tickets on the first flight out," and then they pan to this big ass.
Yeah,
I was like, "No way!"
Well, I thought
this
I was
so cool.
I was afraid for a second that they were gonna be like, it's
on the
Hindenburg, yeah, and I was like, "Oh, come on!" But then, you know, thankfully they didn't do that. Also, probably the years probably don't match.
Timing,
but also, do all blimps have a fucking plane in the bottom of them to escape?
A lot of them do. It's not for escape. It's for like, I read about this. It's because blimp rides are long, especially when they were. So like, it would be to like fly off and get mail and stuff.
Yeah.
And other cargo and things that they would need later on.
Huh.
What I don't know about the blimp is why the blimp took off when everybody's luggage was still just sitting there next to it.
Right.
Is there a second blimp?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the luggage blimp.
Yeah,
luggage. There's I got nothing. Anyway, that whole scene was really nice. Him and what's his name? Sean Connery and Harrison Ford, I felt really started to come into their own together.
Yeah.
Working together in that scene. You know, I even didn't mind the no ticket thing, but I did pick up on and we'll go into this. We'll go ahead and go into this segment here. Picked up a fucking goof. I picked up a goof from Spielberg himself when they were flying the plane, and what's his name gets on the gun.
Yeah,
Connery gets on the gun. He shoots his tail out. And the very next shot, tail's intact. Fuck you, Spielberg. You suck. No continuity. Continuity goof.
I think that actually might be my favorite joke, though, is when he shoots the tail and he turns around, he gets Indy's attention, he goes, "They got us, son."
Yeah, right.
Yeah. He did it, not them.
Yeah. But I noticed that it was a very big continuity error.
Yeah.
For something this size.
Oh, Scott apparently did not like that.
Scott will not tolerate talking shit about Spielberg. He is
out of here.
He's out of here. I'm sorry, Scott.
He's
look. I tell it like it is. Okay, I tell it like it is.
Yeah. No. So let's talk about the final scene, basically, with the knight, the Grail Knight.
Wait. Before we talk about that, can we talk about just at the end of the chase scene in the desert where the tank goes off the edge of the cliff?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I love that. Okay.
that was the moment. Obviously, it really just landed for me when, obviously you think Indiana Jones has died again. And he's, gone off this cliff, and Sean Connery just takes this moment, and it's just like, it would have taken 5 minutes to tell him everything, and I told him nothing. And it was just like, crushed me. I was just like, I felt so bad for him in that moment. And then of course the reveal that he's not dead. But I just thought in that moment, from the rest of that movie on, I was just really sold on Sean Connery and Harrison Ford as a father-son.
And I love how they play that joke too, where like, we're watching this Indiana Jones movie. We know he didn't go off the cliff. We know he's not dead.
Sure.
So they have that moment. It's a beautiful moment. And then it pans back and they're still crying, looking over the cliff. And then we see Indy like pull his ass up. He doesn't even like think about, he's not like, no, nobody's helping me. He just does it himself. And he walks over there looking, and they're all looking down, like, and he just looks down too, just like, and his face is just like, shit, that's a long way down. Like, that looks bad.
Yeah.
Then they all look at him, oh shit, he's alive.
Right.
It's just a great moment too.
Yeah.
You feel like you've seen this bit before where the character would have said something. He would have been like, oh, what's everyone looking at? Or something like that. But the fact that he didn't say anything at all, and it was played so quietly, and then the music comes in right as Sean Connery realizes. Yeah. It's just like, wow, that was a quiet moment. And it was, for the rest of the movie being so big and loud, it was very tender and nice. And I enjoyed that very much.
So I felt like it was a little slow. I felt it could have been faster, but it's whatever. I mean, I'm being serious. I thought they kind of took a little bit too long.
Yeah, but they earned it at this point.
Yeah, did they though?
Yeah, they did.
Did they? He can't even keep his continuity straight with the fucking tail on the plane.
So
sorry, Scott. Son of a bitch.
Sorry, Scott.
Let's get into the Grail sequence here. I love the scene, the picking of the cup, and I mean, are y'all familiar with that meme of you chose poorly? I've seen that pop up. I guess this was about.
Oh my god, dude!
All the time.
Okay, go. That part though.
Go for it. Yeah.
Well, it was just like that line, dude. I was like, you asshole. Like, what the? Obviously,
yeah,
sir. Obvious,
Although that effect is like, I think everybody remembers the melting face in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
This one was way cooler.
But this was way
cooler. Yeah.
And like, it's done in that neat way of just like, he takes the first sip and it cuts back and he's just a little older, and then he turns around and he's a little older, and then the decomposing, I guess it's stop motion or something, is almost time lapse.
Right.
The way it's done.
I really like this one, and I like that they,
and he fucking turns to dust.
It felt like, and it felt like not homage to their own thing, but it felt like they were like, man, it can't be an Indiana Jones movie without someone's fucking face melting. That was really cool, man, and it looked great. Great practicals, loved it.
Now, something I didn't pick up on. I've seen this movie probably 50, 60 times, and I didn't pick up on it until this time that she knew that wasn't the Grail.
Yeah. You didn't.
Yeah,
what do you mean you didn't pick up on that when you were a kid?
Yeah. Or the last time I watched this, which probably was 15 years ago. So, but she knew it was the Grail,
right?
Or it wasn't the Grail.
Dude, she hit him with a
fatality.
Oh, nice. But what's funny though is this guy tells you drink from the wrong cup, you're fucking dead, and that guy goes into it with just balls out.
He
goes, and like he like doubles down. He goes, "Yes, this is the cup of King of Kings."
There's like 20 cups,
and like it looks exactly like it. Also, you look at the bottom of it, and it's got like a nut in the bottom, which wouldn't have even been around in the 40s. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So like that cup was definitely not Jesus's.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I even thought that Indy was a little too.
Yeah, he was.
Laissez-faire with his choice. I mean, even though he was
what
a little more.
What are you gonna do?
He was a little more knowledgeable.
You can't.
But wait. He doesn't have to drink from it.
Well, he was going to drink from it before he went.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, he had to drink from it before he went and gave it to his dad because he doesn't want to kill his dad.
Not me. Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Dad. But I'm gonna do my best guess and then go. Hope this works. Here you go. That's it. You guys. I mean, like, why would you do that and be like, Well, there's only one way to find out.
Gulp.
I mean, that's true, but
and we also learned that you could heal something by pouring it on there. So like if you had like maybe just like give yourself a little scratch, pour it on there.
But then
like,
would you still, or would the arm just fall off?
Yeah. You just get gangrene.
Yeah.
That's how COVID started. Yeah. Somebody poured the wrong thing.
No, my dad watches this, so I will say, no, Dad. Of course, I would drink it myself before I gave it to you. I love you.
Wink.
Oh, come on, Bryce. You know your dad's not watching this.
He's actually the only person that does.
If your dad's watching this, we all need to show our asses.
Yeah, go for it.
Speaking of, I don't know if you notice this. It's very, very subtle. It's very, very small. When Indy has a cut on his lip, and when he drinks from the Grail, it gone.
Goes away, yeah.
And I don't know if they did that on purpose. I don't know if they did it on purpose or it was just another makeup mishap. But if you look at it, he's got a cut on his lip.
I think it was another continuity error that Spielberg just got away with this time. You know,
it was a continuity. What's the opposite of an error?
A continuity.
Is continuity? It's just
continuity. It's continuity. Yeah, it's just good continuity.
Yeah. I will say
I was confused about something.
What happened to the bullet
in his belly?
Yeah, he pours the.
Is that what you were just about to say, Miguel?
No, that was. I mean, I would have eventually gotten to that, but yeah, I'm confused about how the water works.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I might have misunderstood. I thought he was saying something about it turning you immortal for a second, and so I was like, "Whoa, is Indy about to like live forever because of this shit?"
He does,
because that guy said,
"Dude, yeah, that's what I was wondering."
Well, that guy is immortal. Yeah, he says that, but
700 years he's been there.
Yeah, but he said that the immortality comes with a cost. And you can't pass the seal. Once you pass the seal, you're no longer immortal. And the Grail obviously can't pass. So you have to stay. You have to bomb around in that hole the whole time.
Yeah, that makes no sense whatsoever.
But they do say that there's lingering effects because you can survive a nuclear blast in nothing but a fridge if you have drank out of the cup.
Oh,
you see?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe that moment's a little more believable now, huh?
Yeah.
Did they have fridges back then?
Mm-hmm.
In the 50s when...
this was 1938.
Yeah, but the Crystal Skull takes place in the 50s.
Oh. Dude, so here's another thing he could have done. Instead of drinking it himself, he could have just made the Fraulein drink it.
Yeah.
He was already
Indiana Jones drink it.
Yeah.
He could have just made... I mean, she boned his dad and be like, no, you boned my dad, you drink from the cup, lady.
Yeah, but then he didn't want her being in it. Yeah, nobody wants an immortal Nazi. That's what we're trying to stop here.
That's true. Yeah,
that's true. All right, well, whatever. I guess there is no other way. You're right, guys. Yeah. Okay, I'll go fuck myself. Okay.
But I wonder, like, so that old Grail Knight, he's still bombing around in that place. Like, he is immortal, so now he's like immortal and covered in sand. That sucks.
Yeah, I know. And also, I loved how, like, the place that the Holy Grail was in was this perfectly carved home in stone, as if no one would walk by that and go, I wonder what's in there.
Well, that's real, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's in Petra, Jordan.
Oh,
but there's nothing inside of it. It's just a big empty room.
Gotcha.
I have a question. The Grail Knight, did he keep his immortality by drinking from the cup of Christ? Because if he did, he can't do that anymore because the cup of Christ is now gone.
Yeah. Well, if he stays behind the seal, then he keeps his immortality. Is that the deal?
That's what I feel like they were saying. As long as you don't leave, your immortality is intact. But the immortality goes away as soon as you cross the seal. Just like when you take the cup across the seal, it collapses the temple. Because that's what he said. That's what I read out of it.
That is what he said.
Yeah. And then my wife was she kept saying, kill her. She's the bad guy every time. After we figured out that the blonde girl was a bad guy.
It's true. Get her out of here.
Yeah. He's like, why don't they just shoot her? There's nobody left to protect her.
Double crossing, bitch.
And then when he catches her arm, he goes, why isn't she shooting her? I was like, I don't know. Probably because he likes it.
That'd be pretty great. That'd be pretty great if she was dangling right there, reaching for the Grail. He was holding her, and then he just decided to shoot her.
just insult to injury.
Like, oh wait. By the way, bop.
Yeah.
You're a bad guy. Pop.
And then let's go. Or
Well, I know
whatever.
this question doesn't apply to Bryce because he has no heart and soul. But
Ooh.
That's fair.
so when Sean Connery's holding Harrison Ford and he's going for the Grail and he goes, Indiana, let it go. Did anybody else get a lump in their throat?
Oh yeah.
When it was all this chaos and then this guy he goes, Indiana. India and Bryce, that was actually a mean thing for me to say about
No.
you. I apologize for
it's
that.
fair. I mean, look, you're not far off because I will say I didn't get a lump in my throat because I don't really feel that way about these movies. I don't have that kind of an emotional attachment to them. Like I said, I really feel like I missed the boat on these things. But it was a very tender moment. It was very good.
When I got a lump in my throat. I don't know how anybody else was affected by that scene, but that gave me a lump in my throat.
Well, that goes.
when I saw that scene.
It goes back to what Ed was saying about the about when when Henry thinks that Indy is dead after the tank, and he has that like all I needed is 5 minutes, and he doesn't. He gives him a hug, but then moves on. He doesn't really solve the try to make him feel any better or anything like that after that. Like he doesn't take the 5 minutes, but in that moment of like trying to save his son. And when he says, and when he calls him Indiana, that is his 5 minutes. That's all. I think that's where it, it ties back up in that way. So, no, absolutely.
Obviously, the relationship with his father being mended at the end, that was Indiana's holy grail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
boy.
that was the thing
Oh, boy.
he wanted the most.
Oh.
Yeah, and it goes.
Do you write for Spielberg, Miguel?
And it goes back to
I do.
it goes back to the whole thing about like Indiana Jones is not an archaeologist because he gives a shit about cultures and all this other stuff that he said. It's like archaeology is sitting in a library reading books when he's talking to his class.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not X marks the spot. It's not any of this other stuff. It's not adventures. It's not the dig. It's finding out all this other stuff. And he never believes any of that. It's all about the adventure for him. And so his Holy Grail is the relationship with his dad and the adventure that they had to get it.
Yeah, and also to piggyback on what Miguel was saying, it's almost like the adventure was its own character in the movie. It's almost like the Holy Grail was like its own character.
You can't just say that for everything.
That's what Miguel's doing. I'm making fun of Miguel, Chase. You stay out of this.
That's not what he said.
You stay out of this. It's along the lines. He knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
look at this.
What?
Look at this. Raiders of the Lock. The Ark and the Covenant gets put in Area 51.
Yeah.
Temple of Doom, magic stones get left in the village. Last Crusade, Holy Grail gets lost. None. He doesn't succeed. He doesn't. Whatever it is he's looking for, he doesn't come out with it.
Yeah.
It's taken from him, or he leaves it with somebody, or it's lost.
And
so the thing, the MacGuffin that he's going for in each movie, he doesn't end up with it in any of the movies.
Yeah. Well, also like him as an archaeologist, he's terrible because what makes these finds valuable is learning about them in their like natural.
That's true.
Like
yeah,
figuring out how these how the Temple of Doom was like built by all these ancient cultures, or the fertility idol shrine. Like that's an ancient culture put together these mechanical things that still exist. That's what needs to be studied, not some little gold naked guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones, terrible
archaeologist. But hell of an adventure.
That's right.
That's the Holy Grail.
That's
Miguel
right.
Sanchez.
Yep.
All right. Well,
That's
let's do some numbers or some shit. Anybody else got anything to say?
Well, I want to ask everybody a question. Bryce, you have not seen the fourth movie?
Correct.
Okay. Well, but this is how do you guys? Because in the fourth movie opens up that in this universe that Marcus and Henry Jones have died.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
So when you watch a movie trilogy or a 4G or whatever, does it bother you like when you, because so when the three of us, well, when Ed, Chase, and I, when we're watching this movie, we know that in this world that those guys are dead. Does knowing that detract from the movie? Knowing that the characters are dead in their world, does that?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Does that affect viewing of the movie at all? Because it does for me.
No, it doesn't really.
It does. Okay.
I mean,
what about you, Ed?
You're saying does it detract from the fourth movie?
No, the third one.
No, does it detract from this movie? Watching movie, knowing that Marcus and Henry are dead. Does it detract from watching this movie, knowing that in your head?
No.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say so.
I mean, in that case, it would be the same thing as like after having watched this, knowing that Elsa is a bad guy the whole time does not make it a worse movie the second time I watch it, or knowing that he doesn't end up with the Grail doesn't make it a worse movie. So knowing that they're dead, plus, I mean, the guy who played Marcus is dead. Or was dead before because he died of AIDS. He had AIDS He got AIDS right before this started filming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Didn't realize we were getting to AIDS today.
I know, man.
Yeah. That's the movie gap. Straight to the AIDS.
I definitely, to Scott's point, I definitely saw this movie just as a trilogy. Even though I've seen the fourth one, I just, to me, I don't really think about the fourth or whatever beyond. It's just like this was a nice contained story, and I thought it was the perfect way to wrap up Indiana Jones.
For sure, I think I agree. It's one of those things that like I don't feel like adding more to something can ruin what was already there. It's just like I love The Matrix. The second two, quote unquote, ruined the first one, but not if you just don't keep watching the second two. Like, just watch the first one and enjoy it as a movie. However, it's funny because I always think of, like, The Hangover, and I'm like, oh, those aren't good. Those are terrible. Those aren't funny. But you watch the first one. The first one is a fucking really funny movie, and it really did get ruined by making two more. So
the surprise blockbuster hit of the summer.
And Indiana Jones, before the fourth one, was considered, like, one of the perfect trilogies.
Yeah.
Like, some people had some gripes with the second one, but honestly, that didn't really come to my attention until, like, I was older. Like, I didn't realize that people had been like, meh, Temple of Doom kind of thing. I just thought people loved Indiana Jones. But, like, compared to most trilogies, keeping in that, number, like, it really does end quite perfectly.
Yeah.
Where it's like some movies do tend to falter either on the second one or the third one, and they're unable to like climb back out of it. Like, I mean, Star Wars is probably the best example of that. They had three trilogies.
Well, Godfather,
the line they fucked up. Godfather 2, yeah.
Godfather 3. Godfather 3
is terrible.
Yeah,
I meant the Godfather as well. Yes.
Yeah.
2.
But like
classic.
The thing about the thing that I actually do like about
classic
Crystal Skull is that Crystal Skull having come out, granted it came out 18 years after, or whatever, 20 years after this one, it made it where Temple of Doom isn't the worst Indiana Jones movie. So you could just say the three good ones instead of being like, oh, Temple of Doom isn't that great. Because of Crystal Skull, Temple of Doom gets the respect it deserves because it's not the worst one. You know what I mean?
It doesn't even come close. It doesn't even come close.
Yeah.
And
I really enjoyed Temple of Doom.
Yeah, and Temple of Doom is great because it's also a prequel. So, like, very rarely do you get a prequel that is as good as the original,
and you still didn't get one with this one. What are you talking about? Temple of Doom as good as
it's not as good, but it's still
Raiders
good.
of the Lost
it's very,
Ark?
very good.
No.
It's still a
Do
good
you guys agree
movie.
with that? Come on.
I think most prequels aren't good, and Temple of Doom is a solid movie.
You think it's as good as the Raiders of the Lost Ark?
I don't think it's as good, but I think it's pretty damn good.
Whack.
Oh man,
it's hard to be better than the original, but this movie, I think this sequel is better than the original.
The Last Crusade?
Yeah,
I would agree with that. Actually,
yeah.
This was spoiler alert. This was my favorite of the three, hands down.
Yeah, mine too.
It is.
Yeah.
How is that a spoiler alert?
Well, you know, I give my rating at the end of the episode, but I couldn't hold on.
Oh, that's
to it
right.
anymore.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I couldn't hold on to it anymore. I was
All right. Well,
waiting to say that.
In that case, how about we get right into the ratings? Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Miguel, we will start with you since this was new to you.
So I really enjoyed this movie. I liked it better than Temple of Doom, and I liked Temple of Doom better than Raiders of the Lost Ark. So that's the general order of Indiana Jones movies. That's how I view them now. But as far as my rating for this movie, out of 10 items that belong in a museum, I'd probably go a 10 out of 10. Like I said, best movie of Indiana Jones. I enjoyed this one.
Awesome.
You give this a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Here I am.
This is outrageous. Really is.
Wow.
I had a great time. Would watch again.
Big scale.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So yeah, obviously, if we're going with the worth it or worth shit, that makes it a worth it. So
yeah.
All right, Scott, you're next.
I'm going to give this 9 camels out of 10. I said no camels. That's 9 camels. Compensation for my brother-in-law's car. So,
I love that they brought Sala back.
Yes. I rate this. Mine goes this Last Crusade, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom. That's my rating. I enjoyed this movie better than Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. I mean, even Spielberg said this was his favorite.
We're not asking Spielberg's rating.
That's the general consensus. But then again, there's a lot that Raiders has. That's it's set up all the iconics. So there's a lot of people that are going to think it's that have that one as the number one. But I too think this is my favorite, or this one is my favorite. So
you're just going to step over Ed?
Ed, no,
okay.
I'm just agreeing. I don't rate.
No,
I'm just talking throughout.
No, it's
okay. Ed,
come on, Chaz.
Yeah. Sorry, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got like a battery warning. Okay. So out of 10 potential holy grails that are misleading in every way, I would give this one a solid 9.
Wow.
I would not.
Outrageous.
It's not my favorite of the 3. Raiders is my favorite. I think the action in that one just constantly surpasses any of the other action in the throughout the rest of the series, and it's such like a incredible introduction to the character. And while this one had great interactions, sometimes I don't know. It's all good. It's all good. It's just I prefer Raiders.
You can't argue with a 9. You can't argue with a 9. Yeah.
Well,
9 is
Raiders, and like I said, this was to me the perfect ending to the trilogy. It wrapped it up perfectly. But there are a lot of similarities to Raiders. There are a lot of parallels from this to the Raiders, where I think after the Temple of Doom, they clearly went back to a lot of the formula of the original movie.
Well, and
I think that pulls it back a little bit.
They added things in that were cut from the other ones. Like there was supposed to be a dogfight in the second one, and they put it in this one. There was supposed to be like an assistant, like some scholarly assistant that was with him the whole time during Raiders, and they cut it and they put it in this one as his dad. So there's a bunch of little things like that. But I think really what it comes down to is this movie is more character driven throughout the action sequences, whereas Raiders of the Lost Ark is a purely action movie with some good characters, like you were saying. So like if you're going for an action film, then it is Raiders of the Lost Ark. And if you saw this one first, there's a lot that you're missing about the Indiana Jones character, Yeah. So like it definitely is the third of a series. So even though it does have the beginning, like you see where he came from, but you wouldn't get that scene the way you're supposed to get that scene if you hadn't seen the other ones, Like that scene is more answering questions of where did he first get a fear of snake? Where did he get that cut on his chin? Where did he, get a bullwhip? All that kind of stuff. So, but yeah. All right, Bryce. It's down to you. Sorry, Ed, what?
Sorry, I would make an argument that Raiders also has the best female lead still.
Oh, yeah. You like
down.
Marion? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, that makes sense with his character too. But they kind of cut all the fact that was her dad out until Crystal Skull. Anyway, whatever. But I don't know. I like Elsa. I know she's a bad guy, but I like her a lot better.
I liked her
than Marion.
too. She's but we can all agree that the worst of the female companions is Temple of Doom lady.
Kate Capshaw?
Yeah.
That's Spielberg's wife,
Well, fuck her.
Did y'all know that?
Spielberg.
Ed? Miguel?
Yeah, so we learned about this on the Dan Aykroyd podcast.
Which you guys should all be
Which you can catch
to,
every week.
Streaming everywhere you get
On,
pods. That's right. Yeah, but anyway. So yeah, I out of 10 magic cabooses, I give this one a solid, and now fucking just hold on, fanboys, and hear me out. This is actually a very good rating for this movie from me, okay? I give it a solid 7.5 magic cabooses, okay?
That seems pretty strong for Bryce.
That's right on.
Because I don't care about these fucking movies at all, and I will never watch them again, okay? But this one is definitely my favorite out of all three of them. Held my attention the most for whatever reason. And if I had to rank the three of them, it would be this one, Raiders, and then Temple of Doom. And then that's my fucking ranking. Okay? Thank you.
There you go. So, worth it or worse shit?
It's worth it, but then you gotta watch the whole fucking trilogy. So
yeah.
But dude, for a third movie though in a trilogy, this is one of the best endings of a trilogy in trilogy history. Like they really did a really good job of letting them literally ride off in the fucking sunset.
Well, and I like how this set, like as a trilogy of movies, they're each individual. There's no overarching story. That had to like be like we didn't even know about his dad.
Yeah. Until
this one, you know what I mean? It wasn't like the first one. He's like, I really wish I could make up with my dad or reconnect with my dad, and then in this one we get it. So it's its own film in itself, and it's in part of this trilogy. Yeah. That altogether makes a cool story about this one dude.
Yeah, absolutely. So. I thought they just did a really good job with it, and it's just a good movie. Like I said, guys. I know there's plenty of people listening right now. There's thousands of people listening, millions even, listening right now, going, but I loved Indiana Jones. I loved Indiana Jones when I was a kid. Listen, I missed the boat on that, okay? It is what it is.
Which is weird because Miguel loves it, and he missed the boat,
I'm 30 years old.
Again, right. But I don't know. I don't know. For me, I'm just not into that. I'm not into that type of movie anymore.
Yeah. You were never into that type of movie. That's why you missed the boat.
Listening?
Right.
What? You know who's not listening? Bryce's dad.
Look, he says he does, Scott. I tend to believe him, okay?
If he comments, we'll know.
Yeah,
that's
right.
This is the end of the episode.
That's right. But anyway, so yeah, that's it for my rankings.
Well, I got some numbers for you. This had an estimated budget of $48 million. Opening weekend, it was Memorial Day. I know that because the tagline to this movie was hold on, where was it? I found it the other day. It was he's back in an all-new adventure, Memorial Day 1989. That was the tagline.
Yeah. Fire that guy.
Yeah.
Laziest motherfucker who wrote that.
This one was better. Have the adventure of your life. Keeping up with the Joneses.
Oh boy, getting witty with it.
Yeah,
getting witty with it. No. I don't
know. That might not be as bad as The Man with the Hat is back, and this time he's bringing his dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the one I knew. That's the one I remember.
So
The one
useless.
bringing his dad.
That is so useless.
That's the one I remember. Yeah, this time he's back. The man in the hat is back, and he's bringing his dad.
It's
I just
amazing.
like knowing who decided that Indiana Jones was the man with the hat.
right. Never called him that once in the rest of the fucking trilogy. Now suddenly he is. Oh, and he's bringing his dad. Cool.
All
What was the tagline for Temple of Doom? It was like, the guy in the hat is back, and he brought an annoying companion.
Yeah. The man in the hat is back, and he has a racist stereotype of a companion with him.
I was talking about Willie. The
Oh yeah,
woman.
well, she's annoying too. Yeah.
So is Bryce.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's true.
Oh wow.
Willie was so racist in that movie.
The taglines for Temple of Doom were "The hero is back." Trust him. That was another one. And if adventure has a name, it must be Indiana Jones.
Oh,
That's actually kind of a good one.
But the last tagline is "The man in the hat is back."
Oh no!
With an ellipsis. So that makes sense.
Oh,
that
so
the
that's
last
the same guy wrote the one
with his dad.
This time with his dad.
Yeah.
All right.
So you learned something. I did not think that was one. All right. So opening weekend. What is the box office numbers? Guesses?
I'm gonna guess 50 million.
All right. Ed?
If the budget was 45, I would guess like 30. 48, sorry. I'd say 30 million opening weekend.
Okay. Ed, you already said it, so I'm going to ask Miguel. You like that cover?
Yeah, that's good. That was really good, Chase.
Yeah.
You're so good at improv. Has anyone ever told you
It's like I said on the last episode, I'm really good at like committing to stumbling through something.
Yeah.
Don't we fucking know it, Chase? All right.
In a surprising turn of events.
Oh, God. Budget, I mean, if you said the budget was 45, I'll say something like, or whatever. I'll say 25 million opening weekend.
25, 30, you had 50?
50.
All right. And Scott.
Well, since you said the budget was 45 million.
48.
I'm going to go, let's see, 33 million.
All right. If we're going Price is Right, then wait, Miguel, how much did you say again?
25.
Miguel's right. If we're going just who's closest, it's Ed, because it was 29.35 million.
Whoa.
So I won.
Interesting.
That's just a difficult way of saying I won. I was right.
Well, no.
Well, Price is Right rules. You lost, Ed.
We're not playing the Price
You
is Right.
blew it.
All right. So who wants to take a stab at the actual gross, the overall box office gross?
Worldwide?
No.
Or domestic?
Domestic and worldwide. Why don't we give them both at the same time?
Oh, my God. So many numbers.
Just give them both at the same time.
All right. I'm going to say domestic, 110 million. Worldwide, 168.
Okay. So it made 50 million worldwide?
For the rest of the world. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I'll say.
Look, I don't fucking care. I don't know why anyone else would. That's it. You know?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go nice round numbers. I'm gonna say, oh fuck.
Sorry, Miguel.
Fucking Tom Cruise. If I see him do it again. All right.
This is outrageous.
So
it really is.
I would say I'm just gonna throw out a round number. The domestic 100 million, 200 million worldwide.
All right. Ed?
I'm thinking similar numbers, maybe 150 domestic, and then like 350 We can hear you guys whispering.
What do you want to hear?
Nothing.
We can see you whispering. We can see you whispering.
Yeah, but they can't hear it.
Come on, Chase. Let's have
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh my God.
All right.
350 worldwide.
All right. And Scott, anything?
I'm going with 168 domestic, 220 worldwide.
Okay. Well, y'all
He
are all
memorized it.
way off on the worldwide.
I won.
It was 474 million.
I was so close.
Whoa. Wow.
474.1.
I forgot about the Chinese market.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably got to be what it is. I mean, that's huge. That's more than double the domestic gross. The domestic gross was only 197 million.
Damn, I was over. I was under on the domestic gross.
You're under.
I said under. Well, I said over, then I said under.
Oh, yeah.
But how the fuck does it make 29 million in the opening weekend and then just fucking make that much?
Well, movies stayed out a lot longer back then, too.
I guess opening weekend wasn't as big of a thing yet.
Well, the ticket prices were probably half of what they are now.
Right.
I bet they were
Not
like
as
7
much.
or 8, maybe not even 7 or 8
Not as much
dollars.
competition either, probably.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that was probably like probably one of the highest grossing movies that year, right? So,
Yeah, because I know that this came out in the same summer as Burton's Batman.
My Birth.
Your Birth. But like Indiana Jones and Batman and the Weird Al movie UHF.
wow, yeah.
Like this was like one of the biggest one of the biggest summers of all time, and
U of H
UHF.
and Indiana Jones battling it out in the box office.
But yeah, no, I think this was a huge summer. So it did make a lot of money. So I don't have that list, but who cares?
Damn.
All right. So that pretty much wraps it up. We've done the recast on Indiana Jones enough. Unless somebody wants to throw one out there.
We touched on it earlier.
I mean, it's so hard to have to recast it. I know, Ed, you usually come ready, so if you got something, I'll take it.
No, because like I feel we did, like you said, we did last time.
Yeah.
And it's just it's not worth doing. And on top of that, you got Sean Connery as his dad.
It's so hard to replace him.
It's so hard to replace such an iconic duo.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I won't tackle it this week, but best be sure I'll have a casting for you next time.
If there
because
is a next time.
I feel like I would probably use the same actor again that I suggested last time.
Is Roger Moore still alive?
No, he's dead.
What about Timothy Dalton?
No, we'd have to go with Timothy. We would have to go with Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton's alive? All right, so then it would be
Or
Oscar
Pierce
Isaacs, and Timothy Dalton.
Actually,
Pierce Brosnan is better.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan would be the right
So then
age.
that's the recast right there.
Nah, Timothy Dalton would be great.
Okay, fine, Ed. Okay. We get it.
You're British.
You're British. I don't know.
Yeah. And Pierce Brosnan
terrific
is
penis.
Irish.
Oh, is he?
And George
Timothy Dalton.
George Lazenby.
You're telling me
George
none of you have a
Lazenby.
problem with the Irish?
Oh, yeah, George Lazenby.
Well, he's Australian.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's Australian.
Yeah.
He had an Australian Bond?
Yeah, everything but English, pretty much, apart from Daniel Craig.
Shit.
Timothy Dalton
Well,
is
Timothy
technically
Dalton-
Welsh.
Oh, well. Okay, there we go. All right.
Whoa. Okay.
Crossing some lines
Okay,
here.
here we go.
Yeah,
all right, well, it was a
literally
great show.
borderlines, because Wales is a different country. But whatever. We're getting it.
Ed's over here fucking schooling us on the boundaries of the UK and shit. I love it.
Right.
This is why we have you on. Well, it's been a great show. Bye.
I should not give you the power of having that sound drop. But that wraps it up here. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe. What else? You got anything, Bryce?
Yeah, everything is at the Movie Gap, and of course, you got to follow. Go follow the Dan Aykroyd podcast.
Yep.
The Charles Bronson, Burt Reynolds podcast, or it might be reverse. I apologize, Scott. Actually, you go ahead and plug it.
Well, yes. So I have the Charles Bronson and Burt Reynolds podcast. And please check out if you want to check out the episodes Electric Boogaloo and Death Wish, I have Bryce and Chase on those.
Very
and
true.
then I have the Dan Aykroyd podcast. And check out Temple of Doom and Christmas with the Cranks, because I have Miguel and Eddie on those. So I've had all you guys on my podcast. So check us out. Just check out all of them. But if you want to see how these guys interact on a different podcast, then you can check those out.
It's true.
All right. Well, Ed, Miguel, do y'all have anything that you want to plug?
Nope.
You can me on Instagram, the Movie Gap, and the Dan Aykroyd podcast.
Thank you, Ed.
There you go. All right. Well, that wraps it up here, and we will see you next time. Until then, nom in space.
Got a terrific penis.